Hi, everyone. Today I'm here to talk about the hardest thing about getting your kids to eat healthy. And then I'm going to talk about what we can do to make that a little bit easier. So, the first thing that is so hard about getting your kids to eat well is the fact that it's so confusing about how to do it. We're hearing all these different things: gluten-free, food coloring is bad, sugar is bad, eat more veggies. But not these veggies, and fruit is that good or bad, and then yogurt is good. But if it has fruit in it, is it still good? And then granola bars, are those okay? So the first thing that we have to do as parents is just sort through all of this information and figure out what we're supposed to be feeding our kids in the first place. And that's where the majority of parents start to make those mistakes, because we are getting so many different messages. And the people with more money are the people who want us to buy their products. And so they're telling us, yeah, this sugary cereal is full of whole grains, so it's good for your kid. And then our kids see the cartoon, whatever, on the cereal, and they're like, I want to eat that. And then it just becomes one less thing to have to fight about in the mornings when you're trying to get 14 people out of the house at once. And so we're just like, okay, fine, we'll eat that. It's whole grains. It can't be that bad. So the first thing that is so hard about feeding your kids well and teaching them to eat well is that it's just confusing to know what eating well actually means. And then the second thing that gets really confusing and difficult is the whole question of why. Why do we need our kids to eat so many vegetables? And why is it so important that we switch from regular pasta that they eat to whole grain pasta that they think looks icky? And if we have a hard time understanding the benefits to our kids, it can be really hard for us to get on board with something that's just going to be one more struggle and one more thing to argue about with our kids. And then the last thing, and the biggest thing that I see all the time, is just how prevalent it is for kids to be exposed to food choices that we might not want them to be. Your kid goes next door to a Play-Date and comes home eating an entire bag of Lay's potato chips. Or they go to grandma's house and every night for a week are drinking Coca-Cola. And so it's really hard as a parent to encourage your kids to be eating things like fruits and vegetables when it seems like everyone around us is giving our kids more highly processed foods to eat. So what can we do about it? Well, the first thing that we can do as parents is try to understand what is important for our kids to eat and why. And then once we have that sort of understanding and that buy-in, and we're like, okay, yeah, I get what it means now to get your kids to eat more fruits and veggies. And I have an idea of how I'm going to go about that. And when I go to the grocery store, I'm going to make sure to buy at least one fruit that I know my kids are going to eat. And once we have a sort of plan, now we can stick to that plan instead of every day just flying off the cuff being like, I don't know, let me just throw out some carrot sticks and hope for the best. So that's the first thing we can do. And then the next thing we can do is to really focus on what we can control instead of what we can't control. We can't control what snacks our kids are getting at birthday parties, and we can't really control so much what they're doing when they're at grandma's house. But we can control what sort of foods we're going to have in our house and what foods we're going to bring with us when we go places, and what sort of conversations we're going to have around the food that we eat. So, when your kids come home and say things like, can we buy this entire giant tub of cotton candy? And you can be like, well, cotton candy is not something I want to bring into the house right now because, it's full of things like sugar and food coloring. And so that's going to be a snack that we enjoy at the fair. So it's just about controlling your environment, but never saying, oh, we don't eat cotton candy because it's bad for you. So we want to make sure that we're always being positive and we're giving foods that we don't want to eat every day an appropriate time and place when we can eat them. So, we're not going to eat birthday cake every day, but sure, on your birthday and on your sister's birthday and on dad's birthday, yeah, we're going to have cake and it's going to be fun and it's going to be great. And the last thing that we can do is just remember that eating well is a lifelong activity. It's not a thing that we're going to do for our kids in a day or in a week or in a month or even in a year. It's a lifetime of making food choices, eating things that make our bodies feel better, and balancing all the choices that we have to make every single day about food. So if your kids do go to grandma's house for a week and come home having eaten nothing but ice cream and popcorn, that's that's okay, because again, it's a long game, and that's the thing that we have to remember. So the things that we can do to help ourselves as parents make better food choices for our kids is to educate ourselves as much as we can, which can be difficult, to make sure that in our own homes we are trying to control the environment in a supportive way so that there is space for everything, but an emphasis on eating the things that we want our kids eating more frequently. And to also just keep in mind that this is a long game we're playing here, and the second we lose our cool with our kids, we've lost the game, and they know what to do to make us mad, and that's the thing they're going to use against us for the rest of our lives. So follow me for more tips about eating well with your kids, teaching them these skills, and in my upcoming videos, I'm going to go into more detail about how we can educate ourselves about what it means to eat well, how we can create a healthy environment in our homes, and how we can teach healthy eating to our kids without shaming them. See you next time.